right, let's get some reaction from Slate Stone Wealth Chief Market Strategist Kenny Polcari and the Expert Press CEO Dave Maney. Kenny, I want to go ahead and start with you. Market is rising once again today, 218 points on the Dow. It seems that, Mr. Market essentially is looking at the whole picture and saying, well, the numbers are coming down. They're not where we want them to be, but it's enough. The labor market is still holding up. So, everything seems okay for now. What are your thoughts?
Well, and I would agree. I think the market is taking this morning's number and looking at it in a downtrend. They're certainly still higher than we want them to be, but, they are starting to come down, and that is a positive. But look, they're still near 40-year high rates, right? I mean, 7%, 6.7% is still well above the 2% target that they tell us where we want to be. So while I appreciate and I love the fact that the stocks are rallying, the market's rallying, I'm not necessarily convinced that there's still not more volatility ahead.
I'm not convinced either. I mean, I look at inflation at 7.7%, Dave, and say the Fed still has a ways to go.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're all hoping that they can engineer the fabled soft landing and give them some credit after a very rough 6-month period this year. I mean, you're starting to see signs of the softening that you need to see, housing sales and then the real estate bubble, kind of a little bit of air coming out of it. The number's still too high, but you're seeing encouraging signs. And then around the fringes, you've got, the tech companies kind of soft talking recessionary activity. And I think there's caution in the water, and that's probably the exact remedy for the situation we've got.
Mm-hmm. Can I just jump and say one thing? Is that we see the CPI coming down, but what's very interesting? It's used car prices are coming down and housing's coming down. That does nothing, like Jackie said, to put food on your table, to pay your utility bill, to put gas in your car, because those costs are still going up.
Well, and one of the biggest issues for voters as they were going to the polls, obviously, was inflation, but even more so than gas prices, Kenny, to your point, was the fact that people were really concerned about food prices. And you can see across the board, we haven't really seen much relief there. I keep saying that comes back to the whole energy situation and transporting food around and diesel prices. So until we get some policy changes or see some more supply come onto this market, I mean, the way I see it, the Fed could keep its foot on the gas with the interest rates. People still need to eat, and they're going to figure out a way, obviously, to put food on the table.
Exactly the point. But this is why when they say, oh, look, we're doing such a great job, CPI is coming down. Not coming down in anything that's going to feed you, turn on the lights, or put gas in your car.
Right. That really matters. Obviously, the producer prices, Dave, they came down a little bit as well. And that's important because as long as those remain, at skyrocketed levels, we know the producers are going to pass those costs on to consumers. So while I see a little relief there, not really enough for me to think, oh, well, I'm going to go to the grocery store and pretty soon I'm going to see the price of milk is lower, the price of bread is lower. I don't think so. Not right now.
Yeah, look, I mean, you've got an incredibly damaging energy policy at the heart of this thing. And I agree with both of you that if that doesn't get fixed, then the whole inflationary pressure machine's going to keep pumping. But that doesn't change the fact that the journey of 1,000 miles, begins with one step. And those steps are starting in places like, even if it's just the real estate market, those will ripple out. So there's two different things going on. And all I can say is, it's better to take a step in this direction than no steps in this direction.
Well, the administration and the president have said it's going to take time, and certainly it's taking a lot more time than American consumers are comfortable with. We're going to have to see, how it all plays out into 2023. But for now, the market seems to be okay with everything that's going on. Kenny, final word to you. Let me just ask you, because I was thinking that during this whole transition period, as the Fed was raising rates, this market would have cracked a little bit more than it did. What is holding it together?
So, I think there's a couple of things, because I agree with you. I think we should have seen a little bit more to the downside, and we did not. I think it's the end of the year. I think there are people that are looking at some names that they've got a lot of cash on hand. They want to be invested. They've seen some names that have been arbitrarily dislocated, and so they're taking advantage of that. But I think, that lasts us, that's going to bring this rally into year end. Then I think in the new year, we start all over again. And that's when I think we're going to run into more volatility.
All right. And I will add that we did see a sharp jump in the market when it became apparent that Republicans would probably take the House, and they're now one seat away from having it. So at least having the ability to block more spending might calm people's fears as well. Gentlemen, great to see you both. Thank you so much.